The crash split the night sky like a dying star. Screams faded into static. Captain Aaron Kale's ship, Valkyrie 7, had been ambushed in the orbit of HFY, a rogue exoplanet with no claim, no laws, and too many ghosts. She'd blacked out. As flames licked the cockpit, she came to on cold stone. The air was thick, humid, foreign. Her suit was torn. Pain shot through her ribs with every breath. But she wasn't alone. The figure standing over her wasn't human. He was massive, at least 7 feet tall, muscles sculpted like it had been carved from war itself. Iridescent violet skin caught the torchlight. White tattoos snaked down his neck and across his bare chest. His eyes were molten silver, and they locked onto her like they already owned her soul. "You breathe," he said, voice deep and resonant. "That means I saved you." Aaron tried to sit up, but the pain was blinding. "Who are you?" "I'm Varrock, and you are unexpected." He touched a glowing panel on his wristband. A translucent screen hovered midair, displaying her vitals. She was injured, internal bleeding, ruptured spleen, fractured clavicle. She should be dying, but she wasn't. "You gave me medtech," she whispered, startled. He turned away. "Not tech me." It took a moment to realize what he meant. His kind could heal with touch. Energy, DNA, resonance. "You fed me your life force," she said, breathless. "I infused you with my essence," he replied, unapologetic. "It was the only way to keep you alive." Her heart pounded. She'd heard rumors of alien warriors capable of such things, but none had ever dared bond with a human. That kind of intimacy, ... It was forbidden, dangerous. "You shouldn't have done that." "I didn't do it for you," he growled. "I did it because I couldn't watch you die." Silence fell between them, thick and trembling. Her body still ached, but now she could feel something else beneath the skin, a warmth, an electric thrum that pulsed in time with his heartbeat. "You're inside me," she whispered, eyes wide. He turned, slowly, face unreadable. "Yes, and now, we are not so easily separated." Aaron sat against the curved obsidian wall of Varrock's dwelling, staring at her trembling hands. They no longer felt like her own. Her veins hummed with alien energy, his energy. Whatever Varrock had done, it wasn't temporary. Her chest still bore the imprint of his touch, faint, glowing lines over her heart, like vines of fire frozen mid-bloom. Every time she breathed, she could feel him, his pulse, his power, his presence. She should have felt violated, terrified. Instead, she felt alive. "You keep staring at your hands," Varrock said from across the room, his voice calm but taut, as if holding back something wild, "trying to see where I end and you begin." She looked up sharply. "You bonded with me, without consent." His silver gaze didn't flinch. "You were dying. I gave you a choice your body couldn't make. That's not the same as asking." He took a step closer, barefoot, grounded like a mountain in a storm. "You'd rather be dead?" Aaron didn't answer, because the truth was unbearable. Part of her didn't want to reject what had happened. Part of her was drawn to the way his presence filled her every breath, like a second heartbeat tethered to her own. "How long does this connection last?" Varrock's eyes darkened. "Forever." The word cracked through her like thunder. She pushed herself to her feet, angry now. "You tethered me. I'm a human soldier, not one of your bonded mates." "I didn't mean to bond," he said lowly, stepping close to close. "But something happened when I touched you. The resonance didn't just heal, it fused." Aaron swallowed hard. "Fused. My kind form a permanent link only once in a lifetime. Most of us never find that match. It's rare, sacred, and forbidden with humans." His voice dipped into something almost broken. "But it happened. I can't undo it, Aaron." The air crackled between them. For a long moment, neither spoke. She could feel his warmth on her skin, his breath syncing with hers. She didn't want him, but her body ached in strange, unspeakable ways. "You should have let me die," she whispered, even though the words trembled with a lie. He moved closer. She didn't back away. "No," he murmured. "I should have done what I wanted the moment I saw you burning in that wreckage." His hand hovered near her cheek, not touching, waiting. "You don't even know me," she said, voice hoarse. "I know your pain. I felt it. I lived it. When I touched you, I saw your war, your sacrifice, your strength. I know the way you suffer in silence and still choose to fight." She blinked. "What did you see, exactly?" "Enough to never unsee it," he whispered. "Enough to fall in obsession with it." And then his hand brushed her cheek. A bolt of sensations surged through her spine, raw and electric. She gasped. "I can't stop thinking about you," he confessed, voice unsteady. "Even if it damns me to exile, even if it makes me a traitor to my people." "I don't know what I'm feeling," she said, stepping into him, "but I know I don't want it to stop." Their lips hovered, barely apart. The pull was gravitational, now cosmic, primal, inevitable, and when they finally kissed, it wasn't gentle, it was acclaiming. The kiss ignited something far older than war, older than Lolder, even than either of them could name. Aaron melted into Varak's heat, into the grip of arms, forged by battle, and bound now by longing. Her fingers curled into his skin, tracing the silver tattoos that pulsed beneath his surface like rivers of living light. She wasn't just kissing him, she was feeling him. Every emotion, every guarded ache he'd ever carried, all surged into her like a storm breaking against a cliff. His mind, his memories, his buried hunger, all of it spilled into her like she was no longer separate. When they broke for air, both were trembling. "I felt everything," she whispered. "You've been alone for so long." Varak didn't deny it. "I buried my need behind orders and duty until I saw your ship fall from the sky." Aaron closed her eyes, and now he lifted her hand and placed it against his bare chest. Beneath her palm, his heart thundered like a drum of war. But there was something more, an echo, that responded within her chest. "I burn for you," he said simply, "and not just from the bond." She exhaled a shuddering breath. "Then show me." Their second kiss was rougher, wilder, hands tangled in hair, bodies pressed together like they were trying to erase the last of the war-torn universe between them. Her legs wrapped around his waist as he lifted her effortlessly. Her back pressed to the wall of the sanctuary chamber, carved into the obsidian cliffs. Alien runes flickered to life all around them, responding to their energy. The chamber was ancient, used once for oath-bonding rituals, long forbidden between species. Now, the glowing lines of alien script pulsed in rhythm with their breath. Like the room itself approved of what was about to happen. His lips traced a line from her mouth to her throat, voice trembling against her skin. "You're not just in my blood now, Aaron. You're in my soul." She clung to him, gasping as their bodies aligned, fused, remembered each other as if they'd done this in 100 lifetimes before. Her pain disappeared, not just from the crash but the kind she had carried for years, the loneliness, the duty, the heartbreak of losing comrades and always waking up alone. Now, she wasn't alone, and neither was he. Varak moved with control. That was almost reverent, yet laced with a hunger barely restrained. He watched her face the whole time, as if memorizing every reaction. Every cry from her lips made his grip tighten, his breath catch. His body responds with something deeper than desire. It was need, and it was not one-sided. When they finally collapsed against the curved stone floor, sweat-soaked, tangled in each other, the stars of Iafra blinking dimly through the skylight above. Neither of them spoke for a long time, but the silence wasn't empty. She felt his thoughts, his worry, his possessiveness. "You think this was a mistake?" she murmured, eyes half-lidded. "I think I would break galaxies to keep it from being taken away." he said. She turned her head to face him. Then don't let it be taken. His silver eyes flickered with a fire that felt dangerous. You don't understand what's coming. Our bond, it lit up the ancient codes. My people will feel it. The council, they'll know. Aaron's breath caught. You said they'd exile you. Worse, he replied. They'll hunt you. Outside, a siren began to wail. Distant, but approaching fast. They already are. The sirens didn't fade. They grew sharper, closer. Aaron sat up, heart pounding, the afterglow of intimacy evaporating beneath the cold press of reality. Varak was already moving, strapping on the bracers he'd abandoned hours ago, activating defense glyphs on the wall with a swipe of his palm. They tracked us, he said, jaw clenched. The bond lit up the ancient grid. It marked you. Us. Aaron stood and grabbed her half-shredded uniform. Can we fight them off? He hesitated. That told her everything. Varak, they won't come to fight, he said finally. They'll come to separate us. To tear the bond out of you. Her breath hitched. Can they? If they do, it'll kill you. For a moment, all she heard was the static between heartbeats. She crossed the room, grabbed his arm. Then we don't let them take us. Varak looked at her with something deeper than love conviction. You're willing to go against the stars for this? I already did, she said softly. When I let myself want you. He kissed her off fast, filled with urgency. Then follow me. They moved fast through the lower catacombs of the obsidian cliffs, torchlight responding to his touch, illuminating hidden corridors. Escape routes used only in times of rebellion. Above them, ships broke atmosphere. The air trembled. They're sending reclaimers, Varak muttered. High-order warriors. They don't speak. They extract. Then we run harder, Aaron said, sweat streaking her temple. But it wasn't enough. As they reached the cliff edge, a blast of violet energy struck the rocks ahead, cutting off their path. From the dust emerged 3 beings clad in glowing armor, reclaimers, faceless, emotionless. Their weapons pulsed with ancient energy. Aaron drew her sidearm, but Varak raised a hand. No, they'll kill you first if you fire. Let me speak. One reclaimer raised a glowing blade, then pointed at Aaron's chest. The voice that echoed was synthetic, bone deep. The bond is forbidden. Human vessel must be purged. Varak stepped in front of her, shielding her with his body. She is not a vessel. She is mine. The reclaimer paused. For the briefest second, something like hesitation flickered in its stance. Then came the second voice from Aaron. Try to take him, she growled, aiming her weapon again, and you'll see how fragile forbidden really is. The surged forward, and then everything exploded. Aaron felt Varak's power rise not just in his body, but in hers. Their bond wasn't passive anymore. It reacted, awakening fully. Her skin lit with silver fire, the same markings now blooming across her arms and neck. Energy pulsed from her spine. It merged with his. Their connection had evolved. The reclaimers hesitated. She's a conduit now. One of them hissed through static. The bond has activated a secondary phase unknown to protocol. Then rewrite the protocol. The other snapped. Kill them both. But it was too late. Together, Varak and Aaron released a shockwave that blew the reclaimers back into the canyon. Light burst from their joined hands. The cliff cracked beneath them, and the sky roared. And then silence. When the smoke cleared, the reclaimers were gone. But so was the cliff edge. They clung to each other, panting, hovering at the edge of a precipice they'd never returned from. Did we just kill your people's elite guard? Aaron asked. Varak looked down at her glowing arms. No, we just became something they can't control. The stars had changed. Aaron felt it as soon as she opened her eyes, her body no longer just hers. Their bond had evolved into something cosmic, something ancient, something unstoppable. Her skin shimmered faintly under moonlight. She no longer needed medtech. She no longer feared death. Varak stood shirtless before her, arms crossed, eyes scanning the burning sky above the broken cliffs. His tattoos pulsed with the same light now etched into her veins, twin frequencies, resonating across species. Across fate, we crossed the line, she murmured. We became the line. He replied. In the distance, the sky shimmered with the arrival of warships, not just his peoples. Others, species that had sworn long ago to destroy any cross-species convergence. This bond they had, it wasn't just forbidden, it was revolutionary. Aaron stepped beside him, fingers brushing his. Then let them come. Varak turned to her slowly. You would fight every law, every planet, every empire just to stay connected to me. She smiled, slow and fierce. I already did. He let out a soft, reverent breath. Aaron Kale, you are not just my bondmate. She raised an eyebrow. Oh, what am I now? He took her hand and pressed it against his heart. You are my rebellion. The moment shattered as alarms screamed overhead. A fleet of 30 warships descended, glowing red holes, marked with sigils of ancient law and intergalactic authority. The council had come. Varak activated the last of his forbidden glyphs. The ancient forge beneath the cliffside began to crack open, revealing a vessel neither human nor alien, the hybrid ship he had once been exiled for designing. You built this in secret, Aaron asked, breathless. I built it for us, he said. I just didn't know it then. The ground trembled as the council deployed orbital suppressors designed to erase resistance before it touched the soil. Varak reached for Aaron, gripping her waist as the light surged around them. Hold on to me, he said. No matter what. They launched. The ship roared to life, rising like a myth from molten stone. Fire licked its hull, but they were past. Caring. Aaron sat beside him in the co-pilot's chair, strapped in, their fingers intertwined on the throttle. The moment they breached the upper atmosphere, warning beacons triggered. Unknown vessel. You carry a corrupted link. You will be detained, powered down immediately. Aaron flipped the come-off. Guess we're not giving up, she said. Barak grinned. Guess not. The enemy ships converged, but the hybrid ship didn't run. It turned and charged. Aaron felt it before it. Happened the bond, surging again. The ship was attuned to their connection. Its weapons, its shields, its very programming responded to the energy between them. Their love wasn't just defiance, now it was ammunition. She leaned forward and activated the core. I swear, she whispered to Varak, if they come for us, he finished for her, voice low and holy, let them burn. The sky lit with fire. Their ship sliced through the fleet like a blade through paper, energy flaring in arcs of violet and silver. Enemy ships exploded in blossoms of flame, and through it all, Aaron and Varak held to each other not just for survival, but for truth. They were no longer human and alien, they were something new, and the galaxy would either evolve or fall, trying to stop them. The end.